Welcome to the Inspired Podcast. I'm your host, Andrea De La Cerda, and each week I'm bringing you the latest discussions and news about changes in the landscape of education and entrepreneurship. As a 22-year entrepreneur, corporate executive, business coach, and leader, I mentor a community of change-making men and women to get out of their box and step into their true calling to make the biggest impact. This podcast is all about empowering people, navigating life's twists and turns, and stepping into the fullest version of who we are meant to be. Today, I want to talk about something I think we all wrestle with: how to stay motivated when the finish line seems impossibly far away. It's a new year. Many people make New Year's resolutions, and perhaps 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, if you can make it that long. But a lot of times that many weeks in, we tend to give up when it seems like, wow, the rest of the year is a long way to stay committed. Do you struggle with this? And if so, you might want to lean in. We've all been there, actually. You start a new project, or maybe you're setting a big goal, and at first you're filled with excitement. This new year, new resolution, new goal. You have a vision, you have a plan, you have a spark of energy that just makes you feel like anything is possible. It's a new beginning, right? We see this a lot, in the first part of the year. New Year's resolutions take center stage. Everybody's talking about them, sharing them with one another. But then reality really sets in. The work gets harder, progress slows. The results that you imagined don't come as quickly as you'd hope. Actually, real life then takes over. And suddenly that enthusiasm you started with, it starts to wane. And if this is how you're feeling, January comes to a close or February comes to a close, trust me, you're not alone. Nearly half of Americans set New Year's resolutions, but yet research from Columbia University shows that only 1 in 4 remain committed just after 30 days. And ultimately, fewer than 10% actually achieve their goal. So it's hard. Staying motivated, especially when challenges arise, is something that even the most successful people really struggle with. But the difference between those who give up and those who push through, you might think it's willpower, but it's actually strategy. And today we're diving into some of these practical ways that you can reignite your motivation even when your goals are really feeling out of reach. Because staying the course, even when it's tough, is what can turn your dreams into reality. One of the biggest reasons we lose motivation is that we forget why we started in the first place. What is that why for you? Think back to the moment you set this goal. What was your driving force? What made you say, this is something I have to do? Sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day grind that we lose sight of that bigger picture, that bigger why. But when you take time to reconnect with that deeper purpose, it can reignite that passion. So try this. Write down your why. Maybe your goal is to start a business because you want that financial freedom. Maybe this is your year. Maybe you're working toward a promotion because you want to create a better future for your family. Whatever it is, keep that why in front of you on a sticky note, in your planner, or as a daily reminder on your phone. You can even set multiple alarms on your phone all day that can just keep you reminded and on track. Send yourself little messages, encouraging thoughts. These can all make a difference in your day-to-day. And then second, break it down into some manageable steps. Another reason that motivation fades, we look at the goal as one giant mountain to climb instead of really a series of many, many smaller achievable steps. So let's say you're training for a marathon, for example. If you wake up every morning thinking, I have to run 26.2 miles, you're going to feel overwhelmed. And if you're like me, you're definitely going to quit, even at the thought of it. But if you focus on just today's run, whether it's 3 miles or 5, you'll feel a sense of progress. And that same principle applies to any goal. Instead of fixating on that big final outcome, consider a different approach, breaking it down into smaller, actionable steps. And don't forget to celebrate each milestone along the way, no matter how small. And focus on progress, not perfection. This is a really important one. When we talk about perfectionism, if you're anything like me, this one might hit really close to home. How many times have you felt discouraged because things just weren't happening exactly as you planned? Or maybe you made a mistake. Or maybe because your progress wasn't as fast as you expected it to be. Here's the truth. Perfection really is the enemy of progress. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment or expecting yourself to get everything right the first time, focus on what you've already accomplished. Keep a journal or a progress log and look back on where you started. What I mentioned just a minute ago about celebrations, I cannot overstate how important those little celebrations are along the way. Because even if it feels slow, every step forward is still a step forward. And don't forget to practice some self-compassion. I want you to ask yourself something. Would you talk to a friend the way you talk to yourself when you feel like you're falling short? So often we're our own worst critic. We beat ourselves up for not moving fast enough, not doing enough, or just struggling along the way. But here's what I want you to remember. Success is not a straight line. There will be ups, downs, moments of doubt, and many even setbacks. And that doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're learning. So instead of self-criticism, try self-compassion. Acknowledge your efforts, remind yourself that setbacks are normal, and most importantly, give yourself some grace. Be kind to yourself. And reignite your passion. Try, maybe through visualization. This is one of my favorite ways to stay motivated is visualization. If you've never tried this, I highly encourage you to give it a shot. Close your eyes and imagine yourself achieving that goal. What does it feel like? What does success look like? And how does it impact your life? And I would challenge you to really get specific. When you're visualizing, imagine if it's that promotion, imagine that email coming into your inbox saying, congratulations, you've been promoted. Or if it's that new client, consider thinking about what does it look like when you go to check the mailbox and you have that new check in the mail, or you see a balance in your bank account that is, exciting and motivating. Really visualize the details because there is so much power in that visualization. The more vividly you can picture this success, the more real it really becomes and the more motivated you'll feel to keep working toward it. Not to mention all this visualization and what that does from a manifestation standpoint, which, we could create an entirely, new podcast just on that topic alone. But I can't overstate how impactful these visualizations can be. If you want to take this even a step further, you can use one of my favorite ways to make visualization a part of your day-to-day by creating a vision board to just display in your space. It's one of my favorite ways to just get creative and align my goals. You can gather images, quotes, and symbols that represent your goal and put them somewhere that you'll see every day. If you've never made a vision board, and if you're wondering where to start, I've actually put together something for you. It's a free vision board playbook, and it can walk you through the process step by step. Go ahead and go to the show notes. I'll drop the link there and you can download it if you want to try it for yourself. And then develop a routine and really stick to it as much as you can. Motivation is going to come and go, but discipline is what keeps you moving forward. And remember, there's a difference between motivation and discipline. That's why building a routine around your goal is so important. If you're writing a book, commit to writing for 15 minutes a day. If you're training for a race, set a consistent workout schedule. The key is to make progress part of your daily life. So even when motivation is low, your routine is what you're used to. Your routine is what's going to carry you through. And then finally, again, it's the third time I'm mentioning it in this podcast, but celebrate along the way. You must celebrate yourself. Every milestone, no matter how small. It's proof that you're moving forward. So set up little rewards for yourself. Maybe it's a special treat, a break, taking a moment to acknowledge your hard work, having coffee with a good friend. Here's the truth. You're making progress. You're growing. And you're capable of reaching that finish line. So if you're feeling stuck or discouraged right now, I want you to remember these tips. Reconnect with your why. Break your big goal into smaller steps. Focus on progress, not perfection. Remember to be kind to yourself. Visualize your success in as much detail as you can. Stick to a routine that will carry you through. And most importantly, celebrate how far you've come. Success isn't about never losing motivation. It's about learning how to keep going, even when motivation fades, because it will. And I promise you, if you stay the course, your goals are always within reach. Thank you so much for joining me on the Inspired Podcast today. If today's episode resonated with you, let's keep that conversation going. Share your thoughts with me on social media. Don't forget to check out the free resources in the show notes that I mentioned. And until next time, stay inspired, stay focused, and keep moving forward. You've got this.